coffee is not strong enough to deal with the amount of crazy that's going on in the apartment above me. Oh boy. Ooh. Head rush. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jen, and this is my channel. So first, before I start talking about anything else, we'll talk about my background. It's, as you can see, a new background, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. I guess it'll take maybe a few videos to grow on me and to see it when I play it back, the video back, to see how I actually like it. I want to make sure I actually don't like it before I take it down, because once this comes down, it won't be going back up. But I'll get to that in a little bit, because there's a whole story that involves that. Of course, there's always a story, and I can always ramble about something. But let me just start by talking about why I'm making this video. The whole topic of the video is I completed my first 24-hour fast. And honestly, it wasn't as difficult as I had thought it was going to be. Now, like I said, that was only 24 hours. It was not 72. So I imagine 72 would be a lot harder. But I'll tell you about the 3 different aspects of the fast that I encountered, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, because it definitely did involve all 3 of those things. First of all, I'll do the physical part of it. It was not as difficult physically as I thought it was going to be. I did not have as many hunger pangs or obsessing over food as I thought I was going to. I had thought that I was going to be ravenously hungry all day, or I would be obsessing on when I could eat. Honestly, I've obsessed more about what to eat when I'm actually eating than when I was fasting. So the physical side of it was not really bad. I think for this week, I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 24-hour fasting, and then start Sunday back to my 16/8 fasting, or maybe I'll do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday again next week. I'm not quite sure yet, but for this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to do the 24-hour fasting. So the emotional and spiritual side kind of go hand in hand, and it's kind of like the universe knows when you're trying to do something new, or maybe it's God wanting to bring things out of you that to see how tough you are and to show you how much strength you have, that you can actually push through tough times. Yesterday was a really crappy day. It was, and it had nothing to do with food. It just had everything to do with everything in my life. Before noon, I was just done with the day. I had posted on Facebook that I was just so over it, and I had just had enough. And somebody asked me if it had to do with YouTube. It absolutely had nothing to do with YouTube or anything online. It just had to do with my life, and everything that could have gone wrong yesterday did go wrong. Not any one big thing. There was no major upsets. It was just little things like dropping things, spilling things. This was like the biggest pain in the neck to put up. I started putting the paper up, and when you only have 2 hands and it's like a long piece, and I had to cut it and splice it, and I was just not feeling it. And then after I did get that up, I opened the lights, and I literally pulled the lights out of the box, and they were this big tangled mess. And I was like, oh no, Satan, not today. Not today. And it sounds weird for some people, and it probably sounds stupid, but little things like that would trigger me into eating, because things just didn't go the way I wanted it to go or planned it to go, so I just going to eat and forget it. But I did not, so I let the lights just sit on my bar, and I was like, okay, I'll just deal with this later. And last night after I ended my fast and I had actually eaten something, when I was feeling more calm, then I untangled the lights. These are beautiful lights. I love them, but I would not recommend buying them because they come out of the box all tangled up. I spent over half an hour untangling them just so I could hang them up. Anyhow, so it was just emotionally not a good day, a good time for me yesterday. Like I said, I don't know if the fasting brought out that it made it feel worse to me or if it was just a coincidence, but it was just a very hard day emotionally. I had an encounter with somebody that I'm just distancing myself from, and we kind of had it out, and I had to set boundaries for myself, and it made me feel really bad, and I ended up crying for a good part of the day because I was just frustrated. I was frustrated with that person. I was frustrated the way I was interacting with that person. I was frustrated letting myself be triggered by that person. And again, I wanted to eat because I just didn't want to deal with that, and it was just easier to eat and forget and be happy, but I didn't. So it was a really pretty day, unlike today. It's rainy and dreary and cloudy and foggy and all those things combined. But yesterday was a very pretty day. It was like 65 degrees and sunny. So I wanted to go outside and enjoy some springish air. But the bad part of apartment living is you can never actually be alone outside. There's always somebody coming in or out and somebody who wants to talk, which is fine. I love talking to people. And I don't know whether it's my being an empath all of my life. I have noticed that people are like drawn to talk to me. There are some people that seem to have people drawn to them, that they are very approachable, and other people that you just don't want to approach. And I've noticed, and other people have pointed out, that I'm very approachable, and people have told me that they don't know why they tell me their life stories, but I've had people just out of the blue come up to me and start telling me all their problems and about their life. And while I enjoy that, I'm glad that they feel comfortable and open sharing those things with me. It can be very overwhelming, especially being an empath, because I take on other people's energy, and it's hard to separate my own from other people's, and even strangers, but more so people that I know. So while I was sitting outside, and I was able to enjoy some of sitting outside and nature, I was watching a couple airplanes pass by, and I used to love when I lived at home, because I lived in the country. We had a beautiful porch on our house, and I loved to sit on the porch at night and watch the planes go past. And I used to daydream about who all was on those planes and where they were going. I'm going to start to get emotional again. And wonder what kind of lives are out there, what people are doing with their life. And it always made me a little sad because I was wasting my life. And I felt stuck and trapped. And I knew what I needed to do. I knew I needed to lose weight. That was the first thing to get me unstuck. But I guess at that point I was just not willing to, or I was just so confused and lost in the haze that I just didn't. So watching airplanes go past is always like this emotional thing for me anyhow, because it reminds me of being home. And then that actually made me start thinking about the word home. And I know a lot of people have said home is where the heart is, and you can never go home again, or different sayings with that, like that. And I started thinking that my apartment doesn't feel like home to me. Yes, it's comfortable. Yes, I've started making it. It took me almost 6 years to start actually feeling comfortable in my apartment and adding things to the walls. For 6 years, I didn't put anything on the walls. I didn't hardly decorate at all because it just didn't feel right. And to a large extent, it still doesn't feel right here. I know this isn't where I'm going to end my journey. This isn't where I'm meant to stay for the rest of my life. This is just a pause along the way. And I am still searching for where that next place might be. Whether it's in this town, it's in another state, in another country, I don't know. And it feels funny for me to say another country because I would have never considered living in another country before. And I mean, right now, I'm not in a position to be able to live in another country. Let's just be honest. But eventually, until a couple years ago, I had never considered the fact of living in Costa Rica. But somebody who had came into my life started talking about Costa Rica, and we started researching it and looking up all the awesome sites in Costa Rica, and it's so beautiful, and everything about Costa Rica is somewhere that I would love to live, or at least visit for an extended period of time, to have another pause in my life. Like I said, I'm nowhere near able to be living out of the country right now, but eventually I think I would like to pursue living somewhere else, out of this state, out of this city. Like I said, I don't know where home is. I just know that I haven't found it yet. And even thinking about going to home where I grew up, it doesn't feel like home, and I don't think it ever did feel like home there. It felt comfortable, and I felt love there, but I also felt a lot of pain there. There's a lot of bad memories there, and there's a lot of good memories there. I also think about my grandma's home, and there was a lot of good memories there as well. There was never any bad memories at my grandma's, but it didn't feel like home either. So I don't know what the definition of home is for me. I don't know what that feels like, but I would like to think when I find it, I'll know what it is, and I will just know. And I know that I haven't found it yet. So all this is rambling of what I felt yesterday, and the reason I'm telling you guys this and the reason I'm putting this on film is because this is all what came up yesterday during my fast, and I think it's important to document what I feel while I'm fasting because there's a reason for fasting. It's not strictly for weight loss. Yes, weight loss is an added part of fasting, a benefit of fasting, but there's spiritual and emotional benefits from fasting as well, and I'm also interested in that because, like I have said many times, I believe that all three have to go hand in hand. They have to coincide, and they have to be balanced before you can be healthy and lose weight. I think if you're not working on the spiritual and emotional side of weight loss, you're not going to lose weight, no matter what kind of a food plan or diet that you're on. I believe that to be true. Other people may not believe that, but I certainly do. So my very first experience with 24-hour fasting, it was very eye-opening, very spiritual, very emotional. I was triggered big time yesterday. I had a very humbling experience emotionally and spiritually with thinking about home and my place in this world and where I need to be, my journey. The only person who knows that for sure is God. And I'm willing to trust Him and know that wherever He leads, I will follow, and I will trust the process and trust the journey and enjoy and be grateful for everything along the way. So, like I said, for this week, I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday fasts, then start Sunday back to 16/8 fasting, I think, unless I decide to do another 3-day fast, 24-hour fast next week. If so, I will let you know on Sunday when I do my wrap-up. But it was a good experience, the 24 hours I had. I don't know how a 72-hour fast would treat me, but for right now, 24 hours feels right. Maybe in a couple weeks I will try the 72 hours. We shall see. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up here and stop rambling because you've heard enough of me, and I'm going to go write the rest of my journal. And maybe at some point, maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, you'll hear some of what's in my journal about what I was thinking and feeling. I do plan on reading some entries from my journal to keep it on video to document as a part of my journey. My journey, my making these videos isn't just about the weight loss. This is about my whole journey through life and figuring life out, and see where I start and where I go along the way and where I end up. So, yep, that's it. I'm gonna go drink the rest of my coffee and edit this video and see what else I can get into today. I hope you guys have a really good day, and let me know how you like my background, if you like it or not. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.